Hey everyone, it's an amazing day here in Oakville. It's middle of October. We've had our Thanksgiving weekend last weekend and the trees are turning bright red. And not that that bothers me. The weather is going to be so impressive the next 3 days. It's going to be over 20 degrees Celsius, and that means it's time to pull a part out of the mold. Now, I want to talk a little bit about my discussions the last few days with Jason Pozo, or JP from Composites Canada. He's been a huge resource on this, and it was interesting to find out the depth of his knowledge. Do you know that epoxy is not always epoxy, or not all epoxies are the same? That's actually a better way of saying it. Not all epoxies are the same. And the stuff that I had gone and made this mold from was probably not the best resin. It was one of their cheapest resins. It's probably not such a big deal because it's for a non-structural part, but it was something I just wandered and picked up myself because it said epoxy, and I thought they were all the same. I was wrong. This has been an interesting deal, actually, going and doing this, from doing some small bits and bobs and flat pieces of Kevlar and stuff to get into making a plug like this and turning it into a mold like this. One of the big issues that or a huge issue that is important to me is the fact that I was previously using epoxy because it didn't smell. The previous, excuse the hammering, someone has decided to wake up and do something with, just to annoy me. Anyway, the thing was that I had it in my head that when I was going to do the mold, I wanted to do it the traditional way, which is polyester resin, chop strand mat, and get a good solid mold that would be able to go and pull a bunch of parts out of. That may not quite be a viable thing now from what JP told me, because halfway through or not even halfway through, we've had great weather to be able to go and do this work outside lately, and my problem was that I thought that working outside the fumes wouldn't get into the garage and then get into the house and have her indoors getting on my case. Unfortunately, that was not the case, and I found out in my discussion with JP yesterday that the outgassing of a polyester part probably continue for about 7 days. So, it's gonna just keep coming, and that didn't work for me. So I did a silly sort of thing. I had laid the gel coat. I basically had another of my little faux pas, and that was that I never put the gel coat on thick enough. When the gel coat's not on thick enough, you get alligatoring, and it's not pretty, and I had quite a few bits of it, so I had to go and dig it out and go and fix it. Well, I had looked at going and just using fairing putty and filling that up, but the problem that JP said we could have was that once you start sanding fairing putty, it can get a little bit porous. It's not as bad as Bondo, but it can get a bit porous, which means trying to get your part out of the molds could be a bit of trouble. So after all this work I put into it, I did not want to go and ruin things. So I'm gonna try, I've got the fairing putty in. He suggested maybe just skimming it very lightly with a coat of epoxy. So that's what we're going to get on to doing. But I just thought I would give this update, as in like a Composites Part 3 type of thing. We will actually eventually put all of our footage together and have a, the story of the dash. But just now I just wanted to give you an update, and we'll do another update when we pull the first part and see how it goes. Now, I'm not that tremendously bothered about how it looks. The reason for that is I want the part so I can get it in the car, mounted on the brackets I already have built for it, but then I'm going to be able to place the steering column exactly where I want to put it. I'll be able to go and make up the bracketry for the center console, which will be, it'll be a composite part. I'm not saying what yet, but it will be. And down the passenger side of that will be my Link ECU, my Racepack Smart Wire, and it's going to be down there so people can actually see the things instead of tucked under the dash. I've got to look after the people that look after me, so big shout out to Link ECU and Racepack for that support. And with that being said, the plan is to go forward and I'll do a little bit of editing on this, get it up tonight, and we'll get something up at the end of the weekend, and then we will look at the overall dash project. We might, I still have this, it's a little bit broken up, but it's repairable. But I think if I am going to be doing one, I don't know if I'm going to be making another mold that will have this nacelle to mount the dash in it. It'll be just a flat panel, and it's up to people how the heck they want to do it. But it was just there's too much curves and bits going on. Now, that being said, JP he enlightened me on another little tip that he has given other DIY builders, and we're going to try that, and I think that's going to be of interest. I'm not saying what it is just now, but if it works the way that he thinks and I think, we could be good. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe wherever the heck the thing is, bottom left I think down there, and tell your friends about us and keep coming back. Thanks.